What's happening, everybody? Well, if you're watching this, chances are you're researching Bell helmets and you rolled across this Qualifier DLX with the MIPS system. This is what that thing looks like. And what I wanted to do is give you my impressions of this helmet. I was able to get this thing out on the road for a little bit. I run it through some gears, get it up to speed, and I want to give you the good and the bad of this helmet. Now, first of all, this does have the MIPS technology. That's that yellow thing you can see in there. What that allows your head to do inside the helmet is to kind of move around a little bit in the event of a crash, and that's there to supposedly help absorb some of that impact. This also has that ProTint shield, which will auto darken in bright sunlight. So kind of cool there. And at the time of this filming, this is about a $300 helmet. So if you look at it from that point of view, there's a lot of value built into this thing. The finish is great. Love the way that this thing looks. And it's comfortable. This is something that I was a little bit concerned with at this price point. This helmet on my head in the size of medium is incredibly comfortable. It fits a lot like one of the older Arai Singets. Like this is an old Singet GT. This particular helmet, which is about 25 years old, by the way, it fits, that's a size large. If you're used to the Arai type of a shell, this helmet in medium fits a lot like that helmet. Now, one of the things this helmet does have, you can see this right in here, that darker area, that is a cutout for earpieces and things like that that you might want to use when you're using a helmet. And, you know, nowadays you've got different GPS and navigation things. If you've got some things in your ears, this gives that a little bit of room to, well, move around and not be so bound up on your head. Now, as far as what this thing is like at speed, well, I've said that it's comfortable, and it's every bit as comfortable as this old Arai. So no higher praise in my book. But what I will say is at speed, this helmet and this profile is very stable. We're not talking about just normal highway speeds either. I'll typically roll this particular bike up to 120, 130 miles an hour regularly, and this helmet is very stable at those speeds. So props on that. Now, all of that aside, that's all the good. But this helmet, I do have to say, has a bit of a fatal flaw. Now, some might say, well, you must be talking about the fact that it doesn't have a lockable visor. Didn't matter at all. This thing was rock solid, and as a matter of fact, there's no lower halo like you might see on lower cost helmets. No, that's not a fatal flaw at all. The issue with this helmet is how noisy it is. And I'm not talking about a lack of just noise in general, or an abundance, I should say, of noise in general, but it's a lack of its ability to do away with wind noise, or I should say, it's its ability to seemingly amplify wind noise. See, here's the weird thing about this helmet, and I couldn't figure out exactly what was causing it, but primarily and really on the left-hand side, guys, what I was getting at cruising speed, say 60, 70 miles an hour, like you're going down the highway, was this rushing of air, almost as though the air was coming across something on the visor or across here. I'm really not sure what it could have been. It wasn't so pronounced on the right-hand side, but it was incredibly distracting. And it was just really driving me crazy, just blasting my left eardrum out. It may have been loud in my right ear, but I was really picking it up in the left. But here's the strange thing about this helmet. This is the other thing I couldn't figure out. It was as loud at an indicated 60 or 70 miles an hour as it was at double that speed. So you would think that it would just be horrifically bad the faster you went. Actually seemed like the faster you went, I guess the perception of how loud it should have been based on how loud it was kind of skewed, but it just never seemed to quiet down. It didn't get worse, but my gosh, it was so bad at cruising speeds that I ended up turning around and, if I'm being honest, I kind of stopped the ride a little bit early. I came back and threw on this old girl from like 2003, 2002. I mean, this helmet is forever old, and it's quiet, incredibly quiet by comparison to this new Qualifier DLX. So I have to say this, I'm really disappointed that the helmet was that loud. Now you may argue that, well, it's got these cutouts in the ear, it's really more made to have things going over your ear, and that could 100% be correct. In fact, I would highly suggest, or I would say that if you're used to wearing earplugs, I know a lot of you guys that are riding would prefer to have the earplugs in your ears just to keep some of the wind noise out anyway. This helmet might be great for you. If you've got other audio stuff that's going on in there, that might be awesome too, to kind of kill some of that wind noise. But as it comes out of the box, way too much wind noise. And by the way, as it comes out of the box, you're not given anything really to work with. You're given this real generic, like if your helmet doesn't fit right, don't wear it type of like a pamphlet. And the helmet comes with a 5-year warranty, so I guess that's good too, but there's nothing that comes out of the box aside from a carrying bag that can tell you anything else about the helmet or how any of these features are supposed to work. Like, you know, what exactly does that do? And it's got one of those on this side. Do they pop out? How is this supposed to work? Anyway, none of that kind of action happened with the helmet. But guys, take that information with what you will. You know, again, the good, it's a great looking helmet, fits incredibly well, super comfortable on a head like mine, which is, by the way, kind of a tweener. My head is about 59, 60 centimeters. And for that, you're sometimes looking at a large, sometimes looking at a medium. In this case, this helmet is a medium, and it fits identical to what these old Singit Arise fit like in size large, which I think these are always running a little bit small anyway. Shell casing is about the same size too. So it's a good looking helmet, fits well, aerodynamic, doesn't buff it around, doesn't do anything weird, but you're gonna have to wear earplugs with this helmet or some other type of a thing around your ears to keep them from getting blown out by that weird amplification that this thing seems to do with the wind that's rushing around it. So would I recommend it? Only if you're going to use those things around your ears. I like the fact that the vents are nice and big. They're easy to move. If you're wearing gloves, this stuff's easy to get to. Super easy, moves around. I like that a lot just because it's such an easy adjustment. Sometimes, you know, with these smaller little guys, you can kind of fumble around. We're all wearing gloves out there, and that would kind of make it a little bit clumsy. This one doesn't work like that. So with that, I hope that helps you out. Again, post up your comments. Let me know if you've got one of these helmets, what your experience has been, and I will catch you guys on the next one. That's a wrap. Adios.